If you wash dishes after 8 p.m., stop now. Because in Kabbalah, there is a sacred time when every domestic gesture is not neutral. It programs or erases your prosperity. I need to tell you something I learned at 14, when my grandfather Shlomo caught me washing dishes at 10 p.m. on a Saturday. He didn't shout. He just held my hand under the running water and said, "After the sun sets, my grandson, the water carries more than dirt. It carries what you have not yet received." At the time, I thought it was an old man's superstition. Today, after studying Kabbalah for decades, I understand that it was ancient spiritual science disguised as kitchen advice. I will show you in this video 3 things that will completely change how you see the most common gestures in your home. First, the principle of Mayim Chayim, living water, and why, after a certain time, it transforms into Mayim Mitim, water that drags. Second, the sacred window that goes from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., where every domestic action either seals pacts of abundance or opens portals of loss. And third, the 40-second ritual that my ancestors performed every night before touching any utensil, a gesture that protected not only the house, but the financial destiny of the entire family. Before continuing, if you have never subscribed to this channel, I need to ask you one thing. Press the red button now. It's not superstition. It's that this kind of knowledge, revelations that have been locked away in synagogues in Jerusalem for centuries, doesn't come to you by chance. And if you are here, listening to this now, it's because there is something in your life that needs to be unlocked. So tell me in the comments, do you usually wash dishes at night? What time do you normally do it? I want to know. Let me explain something that few rabbis teach outside of closed study circles. In Kabbalah, there is the concept of zmanim, sacred times. It's not just prayer times. They are energetic windows where the universe responds differently to the same gestures. And one of the most powerful and ignored zmanim happens between sunset and the onset of absolute night. The ancients called this Bein Hashmashot, the twilight, a moment where 2 worlds touch, the day governed by chesed, the expansion, the abundance, and the night governed by gvura, the judgment, the closure. Now comes the detail that changes everything. When you wash dishes or any utensil related to food, you are engaging with a direct channel of parnasa, sustenance. It's not a metaphor. In Jewish tradition, the dining table is compared to the mizbeach, the altar of the temple. Why? Because just as the altar received offerings that open portals of blessing, your table is where you receive bread, where you feed your family, where the energy of provision circulates. So, every plate, every pot, every fork is not just an object, it's a spiritual tool. Here is the problem. When you wash these objects during Bein Hashmashot, especially after 8 p.m. when the energy of Gevura has already taken over, you are symbolically returning to the universe what should be kept. You are saying, "I don't need this anymore, you can take it." And the universe, my dear, always obeys what you declare with gestures, even without words. Let me tell you a story I heard in my family, passed down from generation to generation. They say that at the beginning of the last century, there was a Jewish woman in a small community in Eastern Europe. Let's call her Sarah. She was known for her diligence. She woke up early, worked hard, but could never escape poverty. Until one day, an elder from the synagogue visited her house at dusk and saw her washing dishes after the evening prayers. He asked, "Sarah, why do you wash after the star?" She replied, "Because it is when I finish cooking." The elder shook his head and said, "You are washing your luck down the drain." He then taught her a principle. Before sunset, wash everything. But if for some reason you can't, let it soak, but don't wash. Let the water sit with salt until the next morning. Sarah obeyed, and they say that in a few months, opportunities began to arise. It wasn't magic, it was alignment. She stopped sending signals of scarcity to the universe right at the moment when the universe closes the books of the day. Now, I know what you're thinking. But I only have time at night. I work all day. What do I do? Great question. And that's exactly why I'm going to reveal to you now the 3 levels of protection you can apply even if your routine is tight. First revelation, the principle of netilat yadayim nocturno. Do you know the ritual of washing hands in the morning in the Jewish tradition? Well, there is a nighttime version that almost no one practices. Before touching any utensil after 8 p.m., you wash your hands 3 times alternately, from right to left, visualizing the phrase, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav. Blessed are you, Lord, who sanctifies us with your commandments. You don't need to say it out loud, but you need to feel it. Why does this work? Because you are creating an energetic shield. You are declaring that your hands are not instruments of loss, but of sanctification. And when you touch the dishes after this, you are no longer washing in the automatic mode of scarcity. You are purifying in the conscious mode of abundance. Second revelation, the technique of malach salt. Salt in Kabbalah is associated with Brit, covenant. When you put salt in the water before washing, you are symbolically establishing a covenant. This water does not take. This water purifies. But be careful, there is a right way. You take 3 pinches of coarse salt, throw it into the still dry sink and say, Melach Brit, salt of the covenant. What comes in here goes out purified. What goes out from here comes back multiplied. Imagine someone like Fernanda, a follower who wrote to me a few months ago. She shared that she was always struggling with money, even while working 2 shifts. She started applying this, salt before washing the dishes, always. It didn't happen overnight, but she reported that in a few weeks, small things began to change. An unexpected discount here, a forgotten bonus there. It's not a promise of instant miracle. It's cultivating the correct frequency. The third revelation, and this is the most powerful, the sacred time from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. If you can wash everything in that interval, you are operating within the golden window. Why? Because there is still residual light from the day, but you are already preparing for the closing. It's like signing a contract at noon versus signing at midnight. The energy is different. A pattern that often appears among people who start to respect this principle is a feeling of greater control over finances. Not necessarily money falling from the sky, but a mental organization that generates better decisions. Why? Because you are training your subconscious to respect cycles, and those who respect cycles attract cycles of abundance. Now, if you really want to dive deep into this, I have prepared material that doesn't fit in this video. It's the ebook, The 7 Domestic Rituals of Prosperity According to Kabbalah. In it, I detail not only the issue of dishes, but also how to sweep the house, how to throw out the trash, how to light candles, all based on teachings I learned from masters in Jerusalem. The link is in the description. It's not mandatory, but if you feel you need a deeper transformation, it's worth every penny. Now comes the practical part. I'm going to give you a 21-day protocol that you can start today. You don't need anything other than what you already have at home. Write this down. Step 1. Every afternoon before 6 p.m., set a mental intention. It can be simple. Today I will honor the cycles. Today I will wash while there is still light. Even if you can't, the intention already reprograms. Step 2. If you can wash between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m., great. Take your time. It's not a rush. While washing, visualize, I purify to receive. I clean to renew. You don't need to say it out loud, but feel it. Step 3. If it doesn't work out and you need to wash after 8 p.m., apply the salt protocol. 3 pinches in the dry sink, running water over it, and the phrase, Melach Brit, this water is for purification, not for loss. Step 4. Before going to sleep, give thanks. It doesn't matter if you succeeded or not. Thank for the learning. Say this, Modeh Ani, I thank you for another day of awareness. Do this for 21 consecutive days. Why? Because 21 is the number of Ehyeh, I will be. It is the name of God linked to the future, to possibility. You are not changing the past. You are planting the future. Necessary materials: coarse salt, a clear intention, and loving discipline. It is not meant to be a sacrifice. It is meant to be devotion. Expected result after 21 days. You will notice that your relationship with money becomes less anxious. Why? Because you stopped sending confusing signals to the universe. You began to respect the sacred channels of provision. I know there will be resistance. Your mind will say, this is nonsense. Washing dishes is just washing dishes. But let me ask you something. Why is it that Jewish families, even in times of exile and extreme poverty, maintain such rigorous rituals around food, the table, and utensils? Was it stubbornness? No, it was encoded wisdom. It was spiritual technology disguised as tradition. You don't have to believe me, but I challenge you to test it. 21 days. If in the end it doesn't make a difference, what have you lost? A few minutes of attention? But what if it does? And what if you discover that you were self-sabotaging your prosperity every night without knowing? Let me recap what you learned today because this is dense and cannot be lost. First, there is a sacred time called Bein Hashmashot, between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m., where your domestic gestures have double spiritual weight. Second, washing dishes after 8 p.m., especially without conscious intention, can symbolically program loss instead of renewal. Third, you can protect this with 3 simple tools: intentional hand washing, covenant salt, and time discipline. Fourth, the 21-day protocol that will reprogram your financial subconscious through respect for sacred cycles. And fifth, this is not magic. It is practical Kabbalah. It is what my ancestors preserved for millennia because it works. Now comes my final blessing for you, and I want you to hear this not just with your ears, but with your heart. Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha. May the Eternal bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May the Eternal make his face shine upon you and grant you grace. Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'yasem lecha shalom. May the Eternal turn his face towards you and give you peace. In Portuguese, may every gesture in your home be a portal of blessing. May every drop of water that flows through your hands carry not loss, but renewal. May you learn to read the signs of the universe not through tragedies, but through the ancestral wisdom that has come to you now. May your table be an altar. May your kitchen be a temple. May your financial life reflect the respect you have for sacred cycles. And may, in 21 days, you look back and say, this changed everything. Amen. 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 Now, 3 final requests. First, if this video touched something in you, leave a comment sharing. It doesn't have to be long. It can just be, I'm going to try. I want to know. Second, share this with someone you love who is struggling with money. Sometimes the answer that person is looking for is not in a finance course. It is in an ancient teaching they have never heard. And third, in the next video, I will reveal why sweeping the house after 9 p.m. is considered by Kabbalists to be one of the greatest energetic mistakes someone can make. You won't want to miss it. Until then, my beloved, go in peace, go in light, and remember, you are not alone on this journey. I am here, and the sacred knowledge is here. You just need to choose to access it. Shalom. Until the next video.